So education comes from outside in and could come from our culture, our traditions, our customs, from religion and religious leaders, from schools, from social media, regular media, from reading, from peers, and so on and so forth. And the goal of education is to, one, help us adapt and be comfortable in the material. And then two, to help us build a base for knowledge. In other words, to prepare our minds for knowledge. Knowledge comes from primarily two sources. One, experience. So, if a child, for example, does not play with candle, the beautiful yellow flame of candle, because he has been warned not to, that is education. But if the reason the child does not play with the candle flame is because he has had the experience of burn, while no one was watching, he has played with candle flame and has experienced burn. And therefore, because of that knowledge, because of that knowing, he avoids flame. That is knowledge. Another example would be if, for example, you have the chance to enrich yourself with public funds or funds that do not belong to you, for example. But the reason you are not exploiting that opportunity is fear of being caught, fear of going to jail. That is not knowledge. But if the reason is you're knowing that in stealing, you are planting an evil seed that will definitely germinate and bear fruit that will hurt you in the future, then that is knowledge. So, knowledge comes from understanding, not from third party handing off rules and regulations. It comes from your deep understanding. So, if knowledge comes from deep understanding and it is not the same as education, then where does knowledge come from? So, knowledge comes from within. Knowledge is your soul. I mean, when we say within, we are saying that there are two parts in this case to you. One is the material part, our body, which is just a garment we are wearing here in order to interface, interact, and adapt with our earthly nature. But there is something inside, there is the real you, which I will call the higher self, that is inside of your body, that is wearing your body, that is wearing this suit, this earthly suit that we call body, this framework, this machine with which we interact with nature. So that thing that religion may call soul and so on and so forth is what I am referring to here as the real you. So that energy that inhabits, that you as energy that inhabits your body, knows much more than the physical body can remember. So this energy is able to connect with universal energy by nature and is able to get connect with what you may term infinite intelligence from the source, which is the universal source from to which we are all connected. So that is where knowledge comes from. So when you go inward and you connect with your inner, that is where you are taught. The Christians will say the Holy Spirit. That's where you are taught. You are taught these principles. So everyone who has attained anything worthwhile on earth did so not by education, but by knowledge. So by knowledge, you gain firm understanding of the things that are in the material. You gain firm understanding of matter, of material from the things that you do not see. You understand the seen from the unseen, only through knowledge from within. If you were taught that by education, it's not the same thing as knowledge. So, when you are taught all of this and you have this firm understanding of why things are, then it gives you a different level of power to manifest. And then you are now able to create as a result of the power that you have generated from your understanding of that knowledge. That knowledge you were taught. Your soul taught you. So you were taught in solitude, in meditation, not in crowd, not in worldly noise, not in social media, not in any of. Yes, you could entertain your worldly being by all of that. But knowledge comes from energy, not from the material. And only energy can connect to energy and download the knowledge that you talk about. So, because you are now able to see beyond the material, you see, this is why this is this, and then you are taught, you have understanding. And that understanding is your power. It becomes your power. With that understanding, you are now able to manifest. Because you know that the things that are created from a place where there is no lack. The availability there is infinite. There is no limit. So as a result of that, you don't jealous people anymore. You don't feel the sense of lack that, what I should have had, the other man is already so wealthy and has downloaded everything that there is, and there is nothing for me anymore. No. So this knowledge brings you to a level where you become peaceful, you are kind, it brings gentleness, self-control, confidence. And in things that should ordinarily anger you, things that you should ordinarily feel uncomfortable about, things that you should aggressively reply to, you are now calm because you are no longer acting on the material that is seen. You understand the concept, you understand the foundation, you understand why this is, and you are just Sometimes you're even smiling and say, wow, so this is what was explained to me. This is okay, wow. So in the eye of the world and the people that are not yet at this level of spirituality, you are a fool. You are a fool. Because how would somebody slap you on the right and you offer the left? How would somebody mock you and instead of being angered, you are calm? How would somebody do you wrong and instead of retaliating and saying, I will beat you up today, I will do this, you just go your way because there is something that you understand that the world does not understand by level of this knowledge. And in this foolish state, you are now qualified for that power. Because if it wasn't for that understanding, if you had the power to manifest, to create, to make things happen, you will use it wrongly. Because for everybody that annoys you, you are going to cause havoc. For anybody that does something you do not like, you are going to use that power wrongly. But by this maturity, you are now able to find value in the power that resulted from your understanding of the things you were taught by knowledge. So, out of the infinite knowledge in source, infinite because it cannot be exhausted. We just keep learning and learning and learning and learning and learning. In this case, you can liken knowledge to light. You could say knowledge is light. And then as you learn, you are going into more light. You are becoming brighter from ignorance to knowledge until someday you become as perfect as the universe, the source. All right, that's something we'll talk about another day. But for now, the much of the infinite knowledge that you have been taught according to the class that you are in now, you are now able to, having practiced them, having seen them and to work in the material, you are now able to form a reservoir, a database, a list of, not in your brain, still in the spiritual, it's reserved for you. is preserved for you in what the book may call unearthing vessels. So you are not able to save all of that. You know what was. And this database of principles that you have understood so well, that have worked for you, that would forever work because principle never fails, they have stayed for you as wisdom. So this is the place you go to where there are issues that you need to resolve, whether from you directly or from your environment. And then you go to, okay, the book says this, I was taught this, so if I do this, I do this. You pull a principle from there, you apply to the situation. In any case, you would have experimented with all of that and be convinced that these things, in fact, it's not convincing. You know, if it was education and you were told and you need to experiment to talk about convincing, this time you know because it is coming from within you, it's not from a third party. So that is where wisdom comes in. All right. So how do we come into this kind of knowledge that we talked about? Like we mentioned, knowledge is not in the material. Knowledge is energy. Coming into knowledge cannot be forced. You cannot force it. The energy frequency is much higher. The vibrational frequency at the energy level is much higher than the physical. So it's above. You can't force it. And if you do manage to force it by some occultic or some power levels below the power we're talking about, then the law of compensation will be invoked. So what does the law of compensation say? It is a natural law. It's a universal law that says if you come into a state that you have not earned, that you didn't go through the normal procedures to come into, then nature would come to you and take that which you came into from you. And then if you worked to earn, to come to a level, and for some reason your earthly master deprived you of that reward, then nature by itself will come and reward you and even pay you compensation. So do not fear. There is no worry as to, oh, I've served my worldly master for 18 years and he sent me away empty-handed. There is a bigger master than that master that will come and reward you and even pay you compensation on top. All right. The other thing to know about knowledge is that it is within you. It is not in mountain A, mountain Z, or in somebody laying hands. No. It is in your soul. It is deep inside of you. So if you are able to quieten the noise on the outside, then you might be able to hear the quiet voice on the inside. All right. But again, that is not something that you can do. It's easier said than done. It's not something that you can do by yourself. So you need the universe. Another way, in fact, the real way to say that is not quieting the noise of your outer. It's lifting you above the noise of the outer to a higher frequency where you can now hear at that level. So it's the universe that can do that for you. And the way to begin to let the universe know, I am here, I am ready, is to number one. In fact, it's not number one. The main thing, the primary thing. Every other thing we'll be talking about and teaching would simply be to help you achieve this primary thing. And that primary thing is to observe the golden rule that we talked about. All right, that's it for today.